Heidi. Hi, Jess.
Hi, Lauren.
How are you doing?
I'm good.
Happy Juneteenth.
Yes. It's a hot one.
Hot one. Hot Juneteenth.
I didn't realize that I was at the age that the heat makes me tired now. I saw a tweet and someone said, this can't be the 90-degree weather that I ran around and played in as a kid.
Oh, my God. Like, played soccer games.
I honestly have been, like, needing a mid-afternoon nap in this heat.
Okay, so today we have, now we've been warning people, but it's here. We're talking about two new shows. We're talking about Summer House Part 2, an old fave, and then two new ones. One is Real Housewives of Dubai, and then also Below Deck Med.
Mediterranean.
Now, don't be confused. There's a lot of Below Decks out there.
Yes.
This is the one with Captain Sandy.
Yes.
And they're in Greece.
Yes, and they usually only air one Below Deck version at a time.
Okay.
So it is just Below Deck Med that's out right now.
Below Deck, though, I've heard has the highest male audience of any show on Bravo. So
that tracks. Vince watches it with me, so that is the only Bravo show he watches with me.
So Summer House Part 2 reunion, last and final, which is kind of shocking.
I know. That was my first thing too. Again, I mean, I keep going back to Vanderpump, that they got a frickin' 3-parter, and that felt dragged out. Like we talked about, they had such filler, talking about Jackson Brittany for 5-6 minutes, you know?
Yeah, right.
And yet, God, Summer House couldn't even get a 3-parter. It felt a little rushed.
Yeah. People were not happy, too, because people felt like they didn't go hard enough at Carl, didn't go hard enough at West, didn't unpack Kyle and Amanda's relationship enough, like skimmed a lot of the surface. But I think Andy in the moment really goes off of like vibes of if they've covered it or not. And
who's to say they didn't really cover it and producers just cut a lot?
Right, true. That could have been it.
Because maybe they did just go, you know what, it's only a 2-parter, and they did cut out a bit. Like maybe they had a little bit, like they could have done an hour and 15, but they just had to cut it, and it didn't make sense for 3 parts.
Yeah, and I think, so we drop back in. I think we're still talking about Wes and Sierra.
Yes, yeah.
So West, last time was like very like leave him alone, he's fine. I've seen some weird stuff on social media, one of which I just sent you today.
Yes.
He looks nasty. He looks like a buffoon. He's
trying too hard.
He was with, I don't know why all the Bravo celebrities were at this party, but they were all at this party in New York, clearly. And it was the New Jersey Housewives and Wes. And one of them, I forget who.
Jen Fessler,
yes,
the new one.
She's like hanging on him like only a girl who hopes to be made out with later is hanging on a boy. He's a sweaty mess. They're videoing themselves. Something that felt cute and should have been deleted later. Like
they thought it was like so funny, and it went on, and then she finally got to the point, and I was like, why did I just watch that video to get to that?
Oh my gosh. And if you're wondering why are we talking about this confusing video, it is confusing, and it's not worth anyone seeing other than Wes looks a drunk slob, like he's hitting on a married woman, and I just felt differently about him after that.
The fame is going to his head.
Yeah.
It's just, he's loving it.
Right.
And we love like a breakout star, but we also need them to keep their head a bit longer. It's like when I say the general Bravo universe, I feel like we then start to be like, no, you're getting a little big for your britches.
Right. We put them in their places quickly.
Get back down there. And that is exactly what's happening with West. He's turning a lot of people off when we were loving.
He just had to be him.
Loving him.
Oh, he also hits on, that's another thing I heard about the party. He hit on one of the Real Housewives of Dubai.
Oh, Dubai. Lisa Milan. Yes.
She's this beautiful, beautiful woman, beautiful black woman, and she said that she had to say a couple times to him that she was married with 3 kids.
Yes, like back off.
Yeah, which it's that tracks with the Jen Fessler video that he's on. Just sloppy, mess in a dress, like flirting with everybody. So anyway,
Jen Fessler was on Watch What Happens Live with Jackie Goldschneider after the New Jersey night on Sunday. And she was asked, who is your Bravo hall pass? And it was like, say it at 3, because Jackie goes, oh, I know who it is. Jen Fessler jokingly says Jackie's husband, Evan Goldschneider. And at the same time, Jackie goes, West.
Oh, my God.
So clearly Jen's been like, oh, my God, this West guy. So, yes, her hanging over him totally tracked that. Then Jackie's like, wait, I thought he was your Bravo hall pass.
Oh my God. So awkward. I mean, just tracks on all of it.
Yes.
So Sierra kind of admits that she still has feelings for Wes, which he says, I mean, same. I mean, you can't say, it's like, Wes, you can't say anything nicer in that moment. I mean, same. I'm going to use that with my husband.
Yeah. I love you. Same.
Same.
But again, this is to always, like, I feel like we're always comparing, or I am, Summer House and Vanderpump. This is obviously nowhere near the same scale as how long, like, Ariana and Sandoval were dating. But this is where I just appreciate Sierra being honest and emotional, saying, I still have feelings for you, and this hurts and is hard. Right. I love that she's not going, which I thought she was going to go, stiff upper lip. Right. And she even, I think she did say, I don't want to cry, but, like, she did. Yeah. But I just appreciate the emotion. Right. Like, just be honest about it. Because, like, when did this film? In the early spring, maybe? And we think they kind of fizzled by the holidays, maybe? So it is still fresh. And to, like, have to face him. And you're watching the whole season back. And it's all just so
I agree.
much.
I thought that was brave of Sierra. And clearly it takes a lot to get her to that point. So the fact that she admitted it, shed a tear or two, and was able to, like, kind of catch herself and reestablish. Like, I thought that was, like, really good. I mean, and then her face. Clearly, I feel like Andy's on the boys' side. Let's just say it. He loves a male perspective, and I feel like they cut to Sierra a few times after she says all this, and you can tell her she's just defeated. It's like it wasn't enough airtime. Wes says, "I mean, same." When she says, "I still have feelings for you," like, it just was not. I don't think she got what she wanted by any means from that reunion.
And like you said, it's so clear West has not been media trained.
No. I don't know if they show this because I watched the Peacock Extended, but then they kind of show, which they do nowadays in the reunion, Andy will cut, but then they'll keep filming to, like, show you kind of a few of the interactions that are happening. I don't know if this is shown on yours, Jess, but Paige kind of turns to Sierra, and literally I wrote the quote. She goes, he's so scared about the public not liking him. He doesn't give a shit about you liking him. Yep,
that was in it.
I was like, Paige, that is way too harsh for what Sierra just admitted and the reaction she got back.
I agree with the first half of that.
Yes.
He cares a lot about what the public,
right?
But he doesn't give a shit about you was a bit harsh.
I was like, whoa. Jess, if you ever said that to me and I was heartbroken, I'd be like, thanks.
Yeah, that's like Paige's humor, clearly.
Right.
She just tries... she wasn't trying to be funny in that moment. She's an abrasive New Yorker. Like, they don't sugarcoat, but I agree. I would be like, I'm really going through it right now.
So then they touch on Kyle and Amanda. Amanda becoming, she admits she was becoming depressed.
Yes.
Which, I mean, that's amazing that she shared that. I think everyone needs to hear it. We all have those moments when you know you're mentally maybe not in a great spot and you have to get yourself out. And the fact that she was not in the right spot and then she realized that and got herself out, I think is one that people need to hear more of. Maybe that also gives a little more credibility and context to the fact that she couldn't wake up on time for meetings and she was, like, a little bit more, like, lazy in Kyle's mind.
100%. That tracks. Because just everything just feels too overwhelming. And I think as she admitted, she's kind of had anxiety her whole life. Yeah. So I totally see. But then it does give a little bit more that I understand Kyle's perspective that bit more. Yeah. Where by no means did he come about it in the right way. Right. And I also understand he wasn't going to, like, out her mental situation, so he couldn't say it. But he was probably going, is starting a new thing really, is that not going to be overwhelming and, like, too much for you right now? But he couldn't maybe say it and didn't want to call her out in that. But I'm, like, seeing a little bit more of that side.
His side. Not emotionally aware to, like, articulate it like that. But we now understand what he was maybe
Instead, he called her an effing bitch, you know, or had a tantrum, you know, not the way to go about it, but I can understand, like, his feelings.
So funny. I'm like, can we look for one of those Loverboy pop-ups?
Yeah, we missed one. There was one in Chicago. I don't think he was DJing, but him, Jesse, West, and Carl were all in Chicago.
Jessica, what were we doing?
I don't know. it's insane for how much we clearly follow this and follow them all. I didn't see a single thing on Instagram or a promotion.
We just missed it.
Yeah, it was at some bar, I think, in River North.
Oh, my God.
And you needed a ticket. Like, it was a paid.
Don't tell me that.
I know. Sorry, we missed it. It was a few weeks ago.
Oh, no. Then they go back to Lindsay and Carl, right, which is kind of the only drama of the entire reunion. One thing I want to just note, it's very small. The blush on these ladies is out of control.
Danielle's especially.
Out of control. Jessica, I'm like, was the lighting in the dressing rooms not appropriate? Like, right. I'm somebody who's done too heavy of a blush before, and it's usually because I can't see what's going on in the mirror before I leave the house.
And then you get into the natural light, and it's like, whoa.
Lindsay's got, like, it seems to be like a line of blush on her face. Danielle's blush is
everywhere.
It's
her entire cheek.
Her entire face is blushed. Even Amanda has like pretty heavy blush. I'm like, is that the look?
Okay, literally Danielle's was so bad I did not notice the others. I think in comparison they looked more normal.
Okay.
And Amanda's makeup is always on point.
Always good. It's not, Amanda's was not like, oh, the blush is heavy. But Lindsay's, once I saw the blush line, I couldn't stop seeing it.
Couldn't unsee it. She was probably using it to try to like contour.
Right.
I kept staring at her lips. I felt like she really got them refilled.
Something's going on with her face. I agree
There's
with you.
something. And it is, she lost that weight. And again, I think she's going into that Carl category. She's starting to look so gaunt.
Oh, really?
It's just like you're seeing more angular features because she doesn't have like an ounce of body fat on her. And I do think it just changes the way her face looks. Andy could not more clearly be Team Carl. But you know what? I loved the whole thing about production.
Yes.
I think Andy, yes, as you said, we always think Andy skews towards the men in most situations, but I do think he needed to say that because Andy does not like when people, housewives, anyone, put out a narrative about what production does. He hates it when they say they get a bad edit. It's like, no, you did that. Maybe they cut them all together, but you said it that many times. So I always notice Andy gets pissed about that. So he was not going to. I love that he referenced that's the narrative out in the public. Like Andy's, again, kind of fourth wall breaking. Like the headlines are saying he called and set up production. Andy's like, you guys don't control that.
But Jessica, there had to have been some tip off. Lindsay was not, actually I think she was on the thread with production coming over because she was like, why are they coming?
Yeah.
But usually you don't pick up cameras after the wrap date unless there's some little sniffing around of something that's going on. I mean, you picked up for Tom and Ariana, you picked up for Jax and Brittany. Somebody had to let the cat out of the bag that something was happening there.
That's true.
Because otherwise, Lindsay and Carl were heading towards a wedding and production was probably going to film that and that was it. I mean, that's the one thing where I'm like, I get that they didn't decide. It's not Carl does not have the magic say to say, okay, this is really worth
everybody be here at 9 a.m.
Yeah, you guys come over, drop everything, come on over. But something was happening, Jessica.
Yeah, fine. I just don't like Lindsay. So
I don't either. And I agree that Andy really tries to clarify all that, so I'm tracking with you there. But I don't know. To me, they don't pick up for nothing.
Yeah. And I don't think it was in the normal version, but I did see the extended of when she said he was taking mushrooms like a week before filming started. And then I'm really torn on that. A lot of people were like, I cannot believe she's outing. It's like, no, but he also can't preach sobriety and get then so upset when people question. So I see her side a lot more in that because I'd be sitting there going, I've literally watched you do psychedelic drugs.
Right.
And you're
with her
so mad at me. Yeah, with me. And you're so mad at me for questioning if you're maybe on something. Like it's not so, because when I watched that, I was like, how could you be with someone who is accusing you basically of sneaking back and doing all this stuff behind, you're hiding it and you're like completely relapsing. So she had a reason to ask, was he relapsing because she'd seen him do it?
It's like super divided online because a lot of people who were in recovery say, no, that is valid to say I'm in recovery from only X, Y, and Z. But And not all of it, right? I'm not sober on all of it. I'm just like James Kennedy, right?
Yeah.
He smokes a lot of pot, but he is also
sober.
Yeah. But I agree that I don't think that's what Lindsay was not suggesting he was drinking again. Well, she was suggesting he was on cocaine.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I know.
It's
There's
a mess.
it's just so messy.
Toxic, messy moo.
Yeah. And it just showed me again of their horrid communication. There was one flashback scene, and I was like, Lindsay, I think Carl did it too, but in this, again, they were kind of piling on Lindsay, I think, a bit. But she always used a descriptive word that was like one level above what was actually accurate.
Yeah.
And there was this clip that they showed, and I was like, Carl was calmly talking, and she goes, "You're yelling."
Yeah, right.
And then, like, when he does have a little bit of a raised voice, she goes, "You're screaming." It's like never quite what the person's
not
doing.
Accurate.
It's always amped up a little bit, and it just cracked me up. Where it's like, he literally was talking so calmly to her, and she goes, "You're yelling." It's like, you want to see yelling?
One little small detail that I wrote down that I thought was interesting is Amanda said something along the lines of like the conversations that Lindsay had with the girls were hours long. Did you catch that?
No.
She said, was that the 2-hour-long conversation we were having in the kitchen? And I thought, dang, those conversations are 2 hours long. Remember when Sierra was like, we should probably get back out to the party?
Yeah.
I'm like, maybe that was an hour and a half conversation that Sierra had to sit through.
Yeah, and to us, it looked like they'd only been in there for a minute, and Sierra couldn't wait to get away from
Production's like combing through the 2.5 hours to figure out what to edit out. I'm like, Jessica, I wouldn't listen to you for 2 hours.
No,
I would
not
be
about
like,
the same freaking thing,
no.
especially when everyone's like, maybe you're not meant for each other. And they were... I mean, Andy, again, was really going into the hypocrisy of Lindsay with the job.
Oh,
and I agree.
Yes, I appreciated that.
I loved when he's like, "So, Lindsay, what is your job?" And she's like, "The show and brand deals." And then Andy's like, "Pause. Is Lindsay going to realize that she's mad at Carl for doing the show and brand deals?"
Right. That was well done. I love Andy for that. That's what makes Andy great, is he can call that stuff out.
And do you think it has something to do, because hasn't Andy made it super clear that he actually no longer has anything to do with Vanderpump? Like, he has no say in casting.
Oh.
And that there's certain shows that he has his hand in more.
Really?
And for some reason, I have in my head that Vanderpump is one that he doesn't control. He's like, I do the reunions. And it makes me wonder if then whoever is the production company are then controlling some of the questions.
Oh,
whereas he goes harder. Like, I totally agree now that you say that. There's such a difference.
Right.
And I used to think, was it just like how Andy felt that
day?
Right. Was he feeling a little sassier some days that he was asking like the tougher questions? And then some reunions you just feel like he's going easy on everybody.
Miami, Real Housewives of Miami, he always goes so hard. I think they annoy him like to high heavens. Lisa, Larsa, they all really annoy him. He gets mad.
Yeah. Yes, he does. And I love it.
I love
it
too.
So annoying.
I wish we could just do like a confessional with Andy where he revealed some like secrets about things.
I know.
He won't though. He's too profesh.
Whenever he retires, let's hope he has a total tell-all. I need to hear it.
Everything.
But I just noted, the final scene. I was like, the amazingness of Summer House. We have just gone through like really dark topics about sobriety. We've had 2 breakups and ended engagement. And then we just cut Kyle's mullet off, and everyone's having a great time at the end of it. I'm like, this is just...
They
do this well.
Yes, I agree. This cast rebounds pretty quick.
Yeah.
Like, they say kind of rude stuff to each other, and then it must be like the New York in them because they... Like, even Danielle and Paige were kind of, at one point, at each other's throats, and then they laugh along with, like, comments that each other makes. Like, I'm like, dang, you guys rebound fast. Notable, though, when Kyle's getting his mullet cut, Andy seems to be shorter than Kyle, but not that much shorter than Kyle. And Amanda,
Kyle's not that tall.
Not that tall at all.
No.
I feel like if I finally were to meet Kyle in person, it'd be like, whoa, you're a pixie on my shoulder.
You are a little man.
A little man.
Okay, well, let's hope we meet him.
Bravo in the headlines before we move on, because a lot of it has to deal with Kyle and some of this crew. So they all clearly met up again in Italy this summer for Andrea's wedding. I was not super impressed by the wedding. It's impressive because it's in Italy, for sure. Italy is the main character in their wedding. But I did not necessarily think the decorations she looked beautiful. He looked fabulous. Yeah. The decorations, I thought, was a little lackluster.
They definitely relied on the location. It looked like in this beautiful outdoor courtyard castle-y
like monastery type thing. But there was no extras beyond that.
Fireworks.
Oh, okay.
There were fireworks.
Okay.
No idea the accuracy. If anyone has gotten married in Italy, let us know. But someone wrote saying, "Oh my God, I had no idea like Andrea or like Lexi are from money because this wedding is so extravagant." And someone wrote, "It's like a fraction of the cost to get married in Italy."
Yeah, right.
They were like, a friend of mine did it, and it was maybe a $20,000 or $25,000 wedding, and it was over the top.
Right.
Like the food is just flowing, the wine and all that. Then they said that there was like a fireworks package, and it was only like $1,000 if you wanted to add,
This is good tea.
Yeah. Who knows the accuracy? So obviously everyone else is paying to get to your wedding.
Yeah, right. You kind of pass through the cost.
Yeah, you pass it on, and I get it. If you want to go, then you're having a beautiful vacation.
Right.
But there were a lot of comments about Amanda not in attendance.
Oh, she wasn't?
No, Kyle was there solo, and I looked into it, and which also goes with the Bravo in the headlines, because there's a side thing about a Kyle cheating rumor. So with those two, then Amanda not at the wedding and that rumor that was kind of getting some traction, he actually commented on his photo, because it was very clear he would have had a photo with him and Amanda at the wedding if she had been there. And he's like, "Okay, I'm seeing so many things. Amanda and I have like 4 destination weddings this summer. Amanda is a bridesmaid in one in 2 or 3 weeks in Italy. She just decided she had to pick and choose, and it was like she stayed back with the dogs." So it was like, let me just stop putting fuel on the fire that they're like getting divorced or something.
Right.
So there was that comment. But then have you seen the cheating?
Yeah,
thing?
I've seen that basically a tip was dropped at Dumas that he was getting too cozy with somebody in Charleston. But you know more of the deets.
Yes. At a Loverboy event.
Right.
He was probably DJing. So I love when the worlds collide. He was photographed and people said he was making out with this woman. Yeah. The photograph is just them talking near each other.
That.
It is not them kissing.
At one point, Jessica, he just pets her shoulder. That was the cozy that somebody was inferring.
And then Leva from Southern Charm chimed in and goes, "Okay, she's like, I normally do not comment on this stuff, but I have got to fill everyone in on the truth. That woman is my friend, who is also a mutual friend of Kyle's, who he has not seen in over 5 years. He was catching up with her. She's in a committed relationship and has children, and he was congratulating her that she had like started a family." And Leva's like, "I was there the entire time. They did not kiss. Let it go." So it does just remind you've got to remember, people are just trying to start stuff too. I know I always say where there's smoke, there's fire.
Right.
But you just
Poor
can't
Kyle.
believe.
It just makes me think that some of his other cheating rumors were also a little bit like that.
Well, because he really did cheat. So then when more come out, you're like, well, I don't believe you.
It's like all the girls band together and they're like, oh, excuse me. There's something else here. But
unless I see him fully locking lips in a video a la like Harry Dubin when he cheated on Countess Luann.
Right.
Unless we've got that much photographic evidence, I'm not believing it anymore.
Yeah, the photograph I saw, I was just like totally like, wah. This is like stupid.
Nothing. I know.
Stupid. Fun fact about Andrea. He was actually the guy in the Taylor Swift Blank Space video. I did not know that.
I knew that, yeah.
He's so good looking. He
is, yeah.
Good for him.
Good for him.
But it's interesting, like nobody, like the Swifties didn't like blow him up necessarily after. Not that I remember.
No, yeah, you're right.
So let's move to Real Housewives of Dubai.
All right.
Okay, so Real Housewives of Dubai. It's on season 2.
Yes.
So if you're thinking about watching it, you have to give it a little grace because it's only on season 2. They're still trying to solidify kind of the drama of it all.
And they kept the cast almost identical.
Yeah.
One woman was out from season 1, and one, Talene, is the newbie.
Which she's a good ad.
Yeah.
Already. Off
American.
Yes. Great ad.
So, yeah.
And then the big kind of interesting piece I think that they built the show around is Caroline Stanbury, which for those who watch Ladies of London, Caroline Stanbury was from that show. And she was married at the time of that show.
Yep.
Super wealthy. Yep. Still seems to be super wealthy. But now is with another new, younger man, Sergio. Which, gosh, Jessica, I think he is gay.
Yes.
Everyone thinks he's gay.
I know. I'm sorry, back to Ladies of London. Bring that show frickin' back.
Yeah, that was a good show.
I was obsessed with that show. For anyone who didn't watch, it was half British women and half American women living in London.
Right.
Oh my God, it was so good. It was basically the Real Housewives of London.
Yeah.
They just gave it a slightly different flair. I can't remember. I don't feel like maybe they didn't have like testimonials.
Yeah, right.
Maybe that was literally like the only difference. But it was filming them at parties and drama and everything.
And they had
such a good show.
There was a couple heavy hitters, like royalty almost, or like royalty adjacent.
Yep. There were. One of them has since died.
Really?
Yeah, a woman that was on it. Annabelle something. Anyway, not to go dark.
Wow.
Okay, back to Dubai. But I completely agree. I think Stanbury was what made them look at Dubai because she had moved there after her divorce and had been there for a few years. Yeah. But it's an interesting cast because I don't think anyone, not a single one, is a local. No one's a born and raised.
Right. All expats.
How do you say it? Dubai-in?
It's Emirati.
Just Emirati? Okay.
Yeah.
But what do you think? I'm curious because you've been to Dubai. How do you think it depicts it? Is it like you
It is that fabulous, yes. Yeah. So it is truly a city that's been built for the pleasure of the people who are living in the city because it's so new. It's not even like 50 years old. It's like 10 years old, some of that stuff.
Which is crazy.
Yeah, it changes year over year. So that government has done a really good job of saying, what do we do to bring people to live into the city, and how do we make those people feel extravagant and super happy? Yeah. So a big thing I'm always asking on this show is like, who actually has money and who doesn't?
Yeah.
Yeah. Caroline Stanbury has money, full on.
She does, but I noted how interesting. I know they're building their new house, living with a friend for months on end. I was shocked by that.
Right.
She, of all people, I would just see getting that fabulous short-term rental.
Right.
I could not believe she had moved in with a friend.
That's a really good point.
And their stuff was everywhere.
That's a really good point.
It made me wonder how much money she still had.
Well, I've seen $30 million is her net worth.
Ooh, okay.
She got that money because she was married to an ex, or her ex was a investment banker.
Finance guy.
Yeah, finance guy. And then her family also has money.
She came.
People were attributing her money to her startup that flopped on Ladies of London called Gift Library. And I was like, oh, honey, no. That Gift Library was a nothing burger.
Yeah.
It flopped and was bought by something, but it was just basically a service for luxury gifts on Ladies of London.
Yeah.
I'm like, that is not how she made her $30 million.
Wouldn't it be nice, though, if that's how she made her $30 million?
Yes. But, no, that's true. The Dubai is that fabulous. The views are that fabulous. Yeah. It is that warm constantly.
It is that hot.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then the conversion rate for U.S. to Dubai money is about 1 to 3. Okay. So I think you can do pretty well there. Okay. Which is why you're always questioning, who exactly is money on that show and who is not.
Okay.
I do think a lot of them get it from their husbands. So Caroline Brooks, who's opening up a salon, clearly her ex-husband named Zoran, which is just...
you can't tell me otherwise that he wasn't a sugar daddy for her.
Oh, 100%. He was a sugar
sorry.
daddy. And then he's still paying for her.
The way they shout at each other, they literally just seem like they despise one another. Yeah. And they have a son together. Right. I think he kind of just became a sperm donor for her. It was kind of like, oh, well, I guess I'll have a kid.
Right.
I think she said that he abused her. It's horrible. And I'm like, can we get him out of here? We don't need to see.
And he's still in the picture because he's paying for everything, Jess.
Yeah.
He's paying for her salon, her construction. He's the contractor in it. He's clearly greased the hands to get it up that fast.
Yeah.
All of
it.
it.
And things are falling apart.
Yes, right. So really the drama of this season starts with something that happened off camera, which I hate, but we'll go with it. They were all at a Beyonce concert, and all of them were at various different levels of the Beyonce concert. So some were in VIP, some were in VVIP.
Yeah, which is a made-up section.
Yeah, made-up section. And basically one of the girls takes a tumble, Talene, who's the new party girl. You can clearly tell she's a handful, and she's a party girl.
Yes.
And Caroline Stanberry says something about her parts being out in the wind.
She basically flashed down low everybody. What I do love about Dubai, and so as much as you can roll your eyes and go, are we seriously talking about a Beyonce concert and like where people sat? It's actually like a breath of fresh air that is the drama. Yeah. Because other shows have gone so dark. Right. Sorry, New Jersey digging up, you know, baby mamas that are in jail. You know what I mean? Like, that's heavy. Right. So you kind of love that these women are arguing about who was in a better spot at a concert. You're like, I love it. You literally all have nothing else to worry about.
Right. And, I mean, it's a Beyonce concert, and it's at the at New Atlantis that popped up. I mean, it's all very fabulous. Yes. But what it means is they forgive quickly, which is, that's the part that kind of, I think, leaves the show a little watery, is like, it's like, it would be like if you and I got in a fight and by next episode we're mending it, it doesn't leave great, you know, plot lines. Okay. It's kind of like you're in and out on all this stuff.
But it's because the stuff they fight about is so surface level. Right. They just are over it by the next time they're all together.
And so there's kind of two factions that form. One is Caroline Stanberry, Chanel Ayan, and Sarah.
Yeah.
And Lisa.
Yeah.
So Chanel Ayan and Lisa are really good friends. Yep. And then Sarah seems to be kind of in this group, or she kind of goes between both groups.
She's kind of a floater. Yeah.
And then Caroline Stanberry and Chanel and Lisa are becoming new friends.
Buddies.
Yes. And then you have the other group, which is Talene, the party girl. Yeah. Kuka out at Beyonce. And then Caroline Brooks, who's the one we just talked about, who has the new salon with her husband Zoran, ex-husband Zoran, who we don't know why he's still around.
And Talene, it cracks me up. I think because this whole fight, Caroline Brooks just goes so hard at Caroline Stanberry, and she keeps saying it's for her friend Talene. Right. Talene is over it and doesn't care. Right. And then I literally feel like Talene is looking around like, oh, God, I'm not going to be on the island with just Caroline Brooks. Like, let it go. And she's kind of like, Stanberry, we're cool. Like, she can tell Stanberry's the girl. Right. In the group.
The it girl. Right.
She's the it girl. So Talene is smart and is like, I'm not going down on this sinking ship with you, Caroline Brooks. Like, let it go. I know you're trying to make drama with Stanberry, but God.
And then also Caroline Brooks, it's clear her storyline is going to involve her drinking too much. Yeah. Talene and Caroline Brooks get after it. Like more than probably we've ever seen on camera.
Yes, I agree. They were getting, I said that party, they were getting lit.
Like 4 or 5 shots by, hours into the party.
I mean, the C word is dropped.
What is the C word?
You didn't see that part when they're sitting out on the balcony? Caroline Brooks calls Stanberry a see you next Tuesday.
Oh, really?
You know someone's hammered when they're dropping that word.
When they're dropping that. Yeah. Yeah. And I think Caroline Brooks, I mean, she's got a lot going on from a business perspective, so she's drinking more. It feels a very Dorinda kind of storyline that's coming in.
None is like not apologetic about it.
No.
A la Dorinda as well.
No. Also, other things, Chanel Ayan. So if you watch the show, Chanel Ayan is really the fashion icon. Oh, yes. But she's showing up in stuff that is just like over the top, Jessica.
That is her.
Yes.
That will not stop. She is constantly 3 notches above the dress code of any event. Right. Be like, come for a pool party, she's in a ball gown.
Right. And she looks good. I mean, she's a model, so she works it. It works all on her completely. Yeah. But it's a little, to me, last season I appreciated. This season I'm a little annoyed by it for some reason.
She's a peacock.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
And she always brings
strutting around.
She always brings a freaking gift. So for those who don't watch, her outfits are amazing. They're clearly runway.
Yes.
Right? Sometimes she's come off of a shoot.
Yeah.
And she's there with her big Versace shoes on or her wig or whatever. And then she brings these gifts, Jessica, constantly. And the gifts are $5
Yes.
The gifts are a pineapple that I picked up at the grocery store. They're the candle that I pulled out of my closet that was a Christmas candle in the middle of summer. They are not well done gifts. And she's always acting like they're super heartfelt. And I'm like...
She makes up some backstory to the item about why this made me think of you. It would be like, Lauren, I got you this Pellegrino because it has bubbles in it. And you have the bubbliest personality. Yeah. And I thought of you when I picked it up. And it's like, oh my God.
I'm like, when is the cast going to see this? This is so
Well, they all just roll their eyes when she hands them something. They're kind of like, she gave someone a goat last season.
Yeah, and it was like the woman... Lisa was like, what am I supposed to do with this? Like this
then
live
the goat like ran away. It was kind of hilarious.
The last thing I want to say about Dubai, again, because there's not huge plot lines. First of all, second season. Second of all, their second episode of the season is that Sarah, I really cannot stand.
Yeah.
So Sarah, her background, for those who don't watch, she's from Saudi Arabia. She's been married twice. She's beautiful. Yes. She's beautiful, just gorgeous.
Yeah.
She has a very ambiguous job, which everybody seems to in Dubai, but hers is particularly ambiguous.
Unclear what
she
does.
Owns tech companies, I think is her job.
And then she's like a motivational speaker.
Yeah, speaker.
Sounds like money laundering.
Yes. And she's lucky she's cute because her fashion, I think, is always off.
Really?
Constantly off.
Okay. She's very bohemian-esque. I don't know.
It's like when people are doing cocktail dresses, she has like a pajama set on. Like I'm just like...
I'm gonna start clocking that more.
Yeah. And then she's got these big white nails this season.
Yeah. Oh, the long nails.
So annoying.
Yeah. And she doesn't drink. I think that's a religious thing for her. So she is, I believe, the only sober one of the Housewives. So yeah, she's a little bit doesn't fit in. For the most part, other than Caroline Brooks, the rest are all married. Mm-hmm. And it's like, when will we ever have a Housewives that they actually are like all married? I guess, really? Again, New Jersey, they are all married. But good Lord, Beverly Hills. Do we like have a single married one? Dorit's getting divorced. Oh, right. Kyle.
Right.
We're losing the married couples left and right. And I don't know, I guess they want to just show women of a certain generation and their lives and that are wealthy, whatever. But we need to, I like when it's more married kids.
Like actual
housewives. You see the whole family aspect.
Interesting take. I would disagree, but...
You like the single ladies?
Because I think single ladies are more drama-filled. Like, they bring a little mess with them.
That's true.
Especially when they're looking at men, you know?
Oh, yeah, if there's any competition.
Right. Anything else on Dubai?
No, but, give it a watch. It's a quiet summer on Bravo programming. It's lighthearted.
Yeah. It's interesting to see what goes on in Dubai.
Yeah.
It's very foreign, exotic.
It's the most out there, other than like Miami, which is obviously still the U.S., but, Miami's got a vibe. Like, Dubai is very different.
Yeah, totally. Okay, so now we're going to move into...
Below Deck Mediterranean. Ugh, every time I watch this, it airs on Mondays. I just want to be on vacation.
Oh my gosh. It is worth watching to just have an escape
the
moment.
Scenery, I just love. They're always somewhere so beautiful and cool. People just jumping, going down the water slide.
Yes.
Love it.
So Below Deck Med, I had to write notes of who's who because one of the things with these Below Decks is they always have new people. We were just talking about this. Literally everyone minus maybe one or two.
Yeah, there's only like
new.
2 repeats.
Right.
Yeah.
Which is a vote of go watch it because you're never behind.
Oh my gosh, yes.
You're never missing oodles of drama.
You can literally pick up mid-season and just get into it.
Right.
That's how my first exposure to Below Deck, I was mid-season and fell in love with it and just started watching from there.
Right. So I wrote down the kind of the lineup, but what's always funny is on this Below Deck, they also do have a little bit of a format. So the first charter is always a shit show because They're all green.
They're brand new to the boat. The boat has to get turned around.
The boat is always disgusting.
Yes.
And they're always like, this is disgusting.
The people who left it just abandoned ship.
Right.
It's so dirty. Nothing is organized.
Then they have to have provisions come in, which in this case caused a lot of drama.
Oh my gosh. I've seen so many seasons of all the below deck varieties. There has never been a provisioning mess up like this
to
level,
this extreme.
Which these people fully deserved 50% off whatever they paid.
Oh, 100%.
Their charter was so affected by the provisions.
Oh my gosh. So for those that didn't watch, basically the provisions didn't come and they were missing alcohol.
They had no wine.
No rosé, no red wine.
They only had like hard alcohol, maybe beer. I don't know if they really showed beer. But imagine she had one bottle of champagne, and they always do welcome champagne when you board. So she literally used up the one bottle for their welcome drinks. And me, I would have been like, bubbles on bubbles when I'm on a boat. Like, let's get this, or rosé.
Right.
This was a young group on charter.
Right.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, the one thing I'll say though is, so then the provisions kept messing up. It was not just one round. It was maybe 5 rounds of mess up where the provisional text messages going back and forth and saying they just don't have the goods that they need. First of all, I would have outed the company. I think it's worth saying something.
Yeah.
Unless it was fake drama, like you should have said the company name. We needed to know.
Yeah.
If I ever provision, Jessica, I want to know not to use that company. Second is...
when I'm in Greece.
When I'm in Greece on my super yacht, I need to know the correct...
which company to avoid.
Provisional company. Yes. The second thing is that get on a damn dinghy and get in and buy some goddamn rosé.
Literally, that's what makes me just so suspect of what was just for the drams.
Right.
And then how staged was the go boat over to that other super yacht.
Yes, right.
So the yachts can talk to each other. They have to for safety things.
Right.
If someone has a mayday call, other boats can hear it. So 100% Captain Sandy had already radioed, said, I'm sending over deckhands. Act like we have to buy rosé off you.
Right.
Like, that was the most staged thing. And then to be like, we did it. I was like, okay, we all know what you did. This was so fake.
So staged. But thank God they finally got it. I mean, to your point, so this charter, I think, was only 2 days.
I think so, yeah.
And really, they had no wine or rosé for the entirety of the 2 days.
And granted, they were happy with the food, but the chef was going off what he had. He also did not have a lot of stuff.
Didn't produce a great meal.
Yeah.
I will say, so on their first charter, the clientele was notably young kids because they were influencers.
So young.
That was very odd because it was basically young kids serving young kids.
Yeah.
That was shocking to me. I think those influencers looked cringy.
Oh, very.
The content was horrible that they were making.
The producers were totally
shading them.
Did you notice anytime? So sometimes, you clearly the big cameras are filming the show. Then they cut to, if you see someone filming someone doing something, they sometimes then clearly ask that person, can we have the video like from your phone?
Yeah.
Anytime they cut to that, they labeled it sick content.
Yeah. And it was disgusting. It was not even...
And it was like just them like in a robe on top of the hot tub being like, ha ha ha.
With their abs out. It was horrible. I thought, how can this influencer be this... filthy rich.
I know. I was like, okay, so can we just admit they like all come from money? They were all just like British. It's like, there's no way they're all millionaires from their content. Please.
Okay, so Chief Stew is this girl named Aisha. We've seen her many times before. She is always very emphatic. She is always on there talking about how great things are,
yes.
Which I like. It's good to center a show around
like
her.
A ray of sunshine, but at times... grating.
Yeah, super annoying.
You're like, come on, you cannot be this happy all the time.
And then usually, if you don't watch the show, usually what happens is the girls take the interior, the guys take the exterior, right? Usually. Now, and then there's always a girl who defects, and she always wants to be on the exterior. So we have that this time. Interesting, they're always very attractive.
Yes.
The girls who want to be on the exterior,
Gail.
AKA be with the boys on the exterior.
Yeah.
Jessica, those girls who do that, I always roll my eyes at. They were the girls in our 20s who sat there and claimed they liked whiskey and played pool and thought like giving BJs were like really a turn on.
Like, I'm just a guy's girl.
So I
just am not a girl's girl.
I need to be with the deckhands.
Yeah.
And so anyway, there's this girl named Gail.
Yes, of course.
Stunning, and she's with the deck crew.
Yes.
She wants to be on it. Let me say some things, because I'm somebody who always likes crossing gender roles, but at the same time, girls cannot do that job to the extent that the men can, because it requires so much strength and so much stamina.
Yeah.
Do you agree or disagree with that?
I agree that they do have to get help at times. Like, those ropes that they're manually hauling in when they're docking or undocking are freaking heavy. And then they're moving that heavy, equipment. So I do think the more that the boats have improved, they now have those crazy, those boats have cranes that operate the jet skis to get them off the top and down. So I do think it's more fair that the women that are on deck, it's not as much of affects the rest of the team. But I think earlier seasons I used to watch, the girls, if there were any on deck, 100% was like, well, can you go roll those towels? Because we have to heave these things out of the bottom of the boat into the water.
Right. So notable about Gail is she's in a long distance relationship. Long distance meaning her boyfriend's not on board, which is hard on yachties.
He's another yachty. They met on a previous boat.
And so long distance is just, he's not there. And he's not there for whatever long the charter season is, which seems like it's 8 weeks or something like that.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah. And she's super attractive. And clearly there are already cracks in their relationship. Yeah. Right off the jump. Like he clearly can't get her on the phone, even though she seems to be on break when he's trying to get a hold of her. And then she already has eyes for another deckhand.
Yes. Oh, who's Irish?
Yeah.
I'm not, I don't blame her. Nathan,
yes.
Such a cutie.
And she's already sneaking around the boat with Nathan.
Night out, a little too handsy with Nathan.
Yes. And only stops herself from probably going to make out with Nathan on national TV while you're telling your boyfriend from afar that you still love him, was the camera crew. They stopped her and they said, "Do you need a mic?" And she said, "No, I'm just going to blah, blah, blah." She gave some weird excuse and then kind of shook herself out of it and went back to bed, as she should have. But Jessica, how can you be sitting there saying to a man that you love him, love you, and then you're actively going to a nook and the ship that has no cameras to try and basically cheat on him?
Yeah. Insane. I mean, actions not, matching with words.
Yes.
But yes, it's going to be good. I think if that was night one of them drinking and going out, there's no chance maybe she actually ends it this season, just virtually with the guy.
Right.
And then it's fair game. But yeah, there's zero chance her and Nathan don't hook up in some capacity.
100%. It's happening next episode. It's not even halfway through the season. It's just happening tomorrow.
Yeah.
Okay, other notable things. One, Captain Sandy. So Captain Sandy is a regular on Bravo. Yes. I've seen her at BravoCon before. No one was ever in her line. No one ever wants to meet her.
Really?
Yes, not really. She's not at
shocked.
She's a fan favorite. People love her, but it's not. You're not dying to get a photo with her. There's a little bit of a difference.
Okay.
Anyway, so Captain Sandy is.
I would have been in Captain Sandy's line if I was at BravoCon.
She's lovely. I think she's too positive. I think she's too nice. I feel
also sober.
Yes. I feel her charters are just not well run ever.
Really?
Yes. And I feel she's always giving a pep talk when it should be a scolding.
Yeah. She gives too many chances. Sure, to some of these crew members.
When the provisional messes up for the fifth time, she goes, I think it's time to get rid of them. I would have been on number 2. You're fired.
Yeah. Second time you messed up, you are done.
Done. Other notable things, Brianna.
Lord.
Something's off with her.
Something's missing behind.
Jessica, last episode when you said that Gen Zers are bringing their moms to their interviews, Brianna is the one who's bringing her mom.
She needed to bring her mom to the laundry room to help her.
She struggles with eye contact, all of it.
Yeah.
Something's off.
So strange.
Did you note how she said she's never finished an actual charter? She's never made it through one full charter.
That's where I'm can we admit this was a producer hire? There's no chance Captain Sandy looked at her resume and was like, I can see 5 halfway done charters. You're it.
You're the fabulous
You must be the one. What did you think about the chef?
Okay, so the chef, his name is Jono.
Jono, yes.
I like him. So chefs notoriously on Below Deck are sassy and rude. He's sassy, but not as rude. Not yet, but we see signs of it.
Yes.
Also, I thought was going to be a fabulous cook, but now seems to be over-seasoning things in a way that people cannot get over.
Yeah, at least from the season ahead previews, it looks like we're going to have food complaints.
Yeah.
He got away again. He made it work with horrible provisioning of what he got, so he made it work, but he was so lucky that these were like 24-year-olds.
Right, they didn't notice. You're right.
They were like, this food's great. Like, I make ramen for myself.
Right.
So if that had been a 60-year-old rich millionaire and their family, he would not have skated by.
Oh, yeah, totally.
So he's like riding a high.
Right, he's like patting himself on the back, and then right now we just finished an episode where it's older ladies, and they're clearly well-traveled, clearly very seasoned, and they are just disgusted almost by his food. Things have the wrong tastes in them, like too much cardamom, the chocolate cake isn't even right.
Yeah.
It's just...
I have a feeling he's not lasting the whole season. I think he might be gone. But again, all seasons I have watched, almost every time that a chef is gone to be woken up, they get up.
Yeah.
I was so confused when he refused to get up.
Yeah, so...
That was a weird situation.
Guests ordered late night food. Like, really, the interior can make, like... First of all, I was shocked she couldn't make the damn nachos.
Yeah.
Like, put some chips on a plate and some shredded cheese over the top.
But in her defense, what was it, Elena, the second stew? I was having secondhand anxiety when they were showing the ordering and she's running up flights. I was kind of like, I get how she doesn't have time to be melting cheese and making some amazing nachos while they're all ordering like complicated cocktails.
Yeah, but then I thought she was wasting time going to talk to him.
Yes, yeah.
And then the reality is she made the food herself. So,
yeah.
I don't know. I felt like I was a little annoyed with her because she had these confessionals where she was saying how hard working she was, and then she couldn't figure out kind of 4 mojitos and a plate of nachos. Like, I don't know. I've made drunk food for myself multiple times, Jessica, and they were not looking for the Taj Mahal.
You're like, and I've made the cocktail for myself while making my drunken food, and it was delicious.
I've lit many a pizzas on fire. That's what you're looking for when you're drunk. You're not looking for 10-course meal.
Yeah.
She could have done the nachos.
Yeah. I agree. But where I thought he was in the wrong is that those guests had specifically said they wanted late night food and he didn't pre-prep stuff for it. Right. So that was a whole thing. But I was like, I'm not liking his tude. He was like, I am so proud of myself that I didn't
get up.
What did he say? For not betraying himself.
Yes, it was so weird.
I was like, that's a really strong way to put refusing to get out of bed to make guests food. I don't know, thought that was your job, but okay.
Well, and then Sandy kind of backed him.
Yeah, she really did.
She said, don't wake up the chef. I would have woken up the chef. If that was me, I would have done exactly what that girl did.
Same. And then Sandy was on Watch What Happens Live, and weirdly, a previous Chef Dave, who had worked with Sandy before, was on, or not on with her, he was in the audience. Unclear if Dave and Sandy are just buddies and hanging out in New York. I was unclear why he was in the audience, just so happened. But Andy turned to him and goes, what did you think? And Sandy had just totally flat out been like, you don't wake the chef, he needs his sleep, blah, blah, blah. And Dave went, I prefer to be woken up because I would like to make it and have it be quality.
Right.
And he just completely disagreed with what Sandy said. And I'm like, yeah, because he has pride in his work.
Right.
And he knows that at the end of the day, even
if everything.
Even if a stew made the shitty drunk food, the guests just remember shitty food.
Drunk food, yeah.
And it's like, but you didn't actually make it.
Right.
You were sleeping. Whatever.
I'm just going to say 2 more things. One is that don't go on Below Deck when you're the first charter. They're working out so many kinks. Like, Jessica, I want us to go on those charters one day, but I'm going to ask, are we the first one?
Lauren, I am so delusional. I said to Vince, we can never be first. I literally was like, note to self.
No, I'm planning it. I'm planning it for your 50th because we need to save some money.
Yeah, 40th is too soon. We need more time.
But I will specifically ask them. We cannot be the first.
I'm not first and I'm not last. They really start to. They're all a little giddy.
Yeah,
they're ready to be done.
They openly know they're not doing well, and I'm like, this is $50,000 a night or whatever the amount is.
Insane.
It's insane.
Yeah.
Like, and they're openly like, yeah, the provisions is really screwed up. I would be like, I'm taking that out of your tip.
So you can get it from the provisioners because I'm not paying it.
Why do some charters seem to have like all out, let's go to shore, let's do this, and other charters, they just are sitting on the boat?
Okay, well, again, as I've planned out how I will be a guest.
Yes, our trip.
I'm torn because clearly some of the guests, I think the ones that are less traveled actually want to go into town more.
Okay.
The ones, for me personally, I'm getting every ounce out of that goddamn boat.
Okay.
You're only on it for maybe 2 nights.
Right.
You're clearly, if you've flown to Greece, you're going to have other time on land.
Right.
So that always baffles me. The people that have a chef at their disposal, drinks on drinks, a hot tub, all the places to party, and they're like, take me to shore for dinner.
Yeah.
Why am I going to dinner on land when I can do that whenever? So yeah, those people baffle me. I would for sure do a beach picnic, though.
Beach picnic, Jessica.
Hell
at least that.
Beach picnic.
I'm putting in my preference sheet, beach picnic better be tip top.
You take me to one of those shitty beaches.
Don't give me
seen 'em.
a shitty beach picnic. I would require
beautiful swimming spot.
Yeah.
I need beautiful water where I'm going to dip in after lunch.
Yeah. Russia's Bay, beach picnic. Do or die moment. Like, honestly.
All the water toys. I would be the all the water toys person.
Totally.
What would be your theme? You know how they love, I think they're clearly told to like put in a theme dinner.
Right. Well, knowing that they sometimes pull out the like gross decorations out of the like cabinets in the ship, I would pick something super basic. I would be like white party,
just
you know.
Keep it classy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would
and
not.
The guests that want to involve the crew, so cringy.
So cringy.
You like want to be besties with them, and then other people I hate when they're saying goodbye. Not that this young group didn't do it, but I've seen so many that are hugging, you know, the line, they hand the tip over, and then they're like, friends for life. No, you're not. You think the chief stew is like your best friend now? Like, you do know that they're just kissing your ass because you're paying them.
Anyway, any other thoughts on Below Deck Med?
No, but I'm thinking it's going to be a solid season. I don't know if it's going to be the best ever, based on previews, but I'm into it. There's literally never been a season I don't like. If you don't watch Below Deck, you are so missing out.
It's escapism in its finest. Like, it's Jessica and I are talking about riding a yacht. Like, it's, you know, it really gets you there. It really brings you there.
It makes you think you could be
You're
that
like,
person.
if that was me, I would definitely put that on my preference sheet.
Yeah.
Please.
I love talking about my preference sheet.
Oh my God. We're going to make those for each other.
Yes.
Oh God. Alrighty. Do I move into what are the kids talking about these days?
Yes. Okay. So just some interesting stat that Gen Z are getting their driver's license later or not at all.
Interesting.
Compared to other generations. So from a study in 2022, so already 2 years ago, but only 25% of 16-year-olds had some type of license, either their permit that they were working towards. Mm-hmm. So only a quarter. And back in 1997, so that was even before we were 16, but 43%.
Oh, interesting. Why is that?
Yeah, a big thing being that there's now Uber. You can get rides. There's Uber Eats to get food delivered. It used to be like, oh, I want to go out with my friends and like grab food. But it was actually like a little news segment that I watched. It then turned into, and it's so interesting, like the ramifications things have, that they are kind of becoming this generation that are a lot lonelier. And it goes back to technology. So again, you have Uber Eats, you have all these things that can just be brought to you, and it means you're not out in
like
public.
Living life.
You don't have to socialize.
Right.
So they're just saying that Gen Z adults have a way higher level of loneliness after the pandemic.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So it's something to keep in mind. Like, we still are social beings, and like you need to go out and live life and socialize.
Well, and the driver's test is like kind of a rite of passage.
Yes, I know. I fully remember the excitement of, also it was like, it had to be a Monday to Friday, so you always got like out of school if you were during the school year, and I was in the fall. Fully remember, like, everyone knew you were out, like, missing
with the license.
Yeah, like missing like periods 1 through 4 because you were doing it, and then the people that had to come back, and it was like, did you get it?
It was
the
like,
people
no.
that like didn't. Did you pass the first time?
Oh yeah, I passed.
Yeah.
My brother barely did though. And also, like, when you were on the weekends doing weird stuff, aka in places you weren't supposed to be, that's how you got there. You were there with the car.
Exactly. Well, it goes back to, like, parents can just fully track their kids.
Right.
And that's the thing. I always say it. I would never pick a different generation's upbringing than ours.
Right. We had just enough tech to be viable, but we were not overloaded, and our parents definitely didn't know what to do with it.
Our parents did not know where we were. There weren't Ring doorbells.
No.
You could still ding-dong ditch.
Yeah.
It's just, I really look back and I was like, those were the glory years.
They were the glory days.
I know.
Yeah. We were figuring it all out.
Yeah. But yeah, just a quick hitter. So just to, as much as like we have all this amazing technology at our fingertips, you got to go out and live. Like, I love going to the grocery store.
I know.
I don't like getting my groceries delivered.
No. So you can sit in your house more? So you can watch more TV? Like, what is the trade-off that you're doing that's so,
a little ironic because we have a podcast about TV shows.
Yeah, right. We're actually watching a lot of TV to try and keep up. All right, so do you want to go to conspiracy theory?
Yes. What do you got for me?
All right, so first one is there are hundreds of people on TikTok that are showing videos that their food is kind of rubbery. Have you seen this?
No.
Like, they're bending bananas, they're bending avocados, and it's really giving this plastic vibe. So there's Jack Osborne of the Osborne family, Sharon Osborne, and what is the dad's name? Ozzy, thank you. His wife, her name's Ari. I think she's a influencer. She bought these blueberries and she kind of left one, and one got down the drain, or a couple got down the drain. And she claims that one of the blueberries that went down the drain was actually plastic because she could hear something going around in the garbage disposal, and she stuck her hand down it to grab the item that was down there once the disposal was off.
I was like, hopefully not while I was moving.
Yeah, not while I was moving. And the blueberry was super plastic. So there's this whole conspiracy theory out there of, like, what is happening to our fruit and vegetables. Yeah. A guy cut up a watermelon. He threw it out in his backyard. He didn't like the taste of it. And the watermelon, like, didn't like, biodegrade. Yes. Anything. It was like, so people are thinking that, basically our food is becoming more genetically modified, and therefore it's bending, it looks plastic, it's not disintegrating. Now, I will tell you, I've seen this a little bit with, like, our bananas, but it also is if the food is frozen or cold, and it does bend a lot easier than if it was, like, ripe sitting on your counter. Right. So I don't know. Some of this seems a little, as I said, conspiracy theory-like, but the blueberry thing is very odd,
Yeah. When you think about, I do not know the stat off the top of my head, but I just remember learning that when they do quality control at different food processing factories and stuff, maybe not so much as fresh, but like, packaged cereals and all that, there's a percentage that they're allowed to be, like, not perfect.
Right.
And that's when you find the crazy item in your packaged thing. And you're like, ew, how is this in here?
Right.
So it's a little disturbing that, but things happen. It's just, they're these huge factories, and you can't think that something's gonna fall. A bug that falls in dead,
so
and a dead fly is in your packaging.
You think that blueberry might have been a object,
something that got in there? Obviously, that wasn't supposed to.
Right.
I don't know about the whole. Yes, I for sure think we're doing way too much genetically modifying of our food. Mm-hmm. I don't know about that one had too much modifying and became plastic. I think that was something that fell in.
Right. I don't know. I've not seen anything. I mean, we have a lot of fruit in our fridge right now, and I have not seen anything like that. So, sometimes I think people just get crazy with, this seems off, and it's like, no, that's a normal avocado. I think you're fine. Anyway, conspiracy theory number 2. So again, this is a kind of a quick hit as well. So have you seen that iPhone iOS 18 has incorporated AI, ChatGPT into it?
No.
People are freaking out because it now claims, people are saying that with this upgrade, it will track your eye movement using your front camera. It will read your texts. It will read your phone messages.
Oh, God. All your emails.
You'll be able to say, hey, can you pull up a picture based off of an American flag that was shot last summer? And it'll find that photo. So Elon Musk is freaking out because he says this is a complete violation of our privacy. Okay. Basically, iOS is going to have ChatGPT, which is brought to you by OpenAI, included in the phone. So conspiracy theory is that basically iOS 18 is going to track us in ways that none of us are even aware
thinking of yet. Yeah.
But my husband turned me onto this. The real conspiracy is that Elon Musk is actually he created a company, AIX, very similar to all of his other X products.
Yeah.
And it's actually a massive competitor of OpenAI, which puts forward ChatGPT.
Right.
So he is going online and saying things like, if his employees come in with the new iOS 18 update on their phones, he's going to make them check their phones into a security lockbox at the start of their workday, and then they can get it back at the end of the day.
Why does he think his AI is safer and better?
He hasn't said that. He just is trying to tank the AI iOS 18 update. Okay. And my husband thinks, so it's based off my husband, this conspiracy
this
theory.
This is a Kunal conspiracy theory.
That he thinks it's because Elon basically has a competing product. He was an original founder or investor, whatever it is, in the OpenAI
and now he's
product,
a hater.
And now he's a hater.
Okay.
So, but the conspiracy theory has lit up because their god, Elon Musk, is saying that this is a complete violation of security and privacy, that's the conspiracy theory. Okay. In the conspiracy theory is that Elon is trying to tank this product because he's, started his own competitor AI product.
Now I'm wondering what iOS I have.
You're just double checking over there. So it's a upgrade, but apparently to allow ChatGPT to do all this, right, you would have to give it permission. Okay. It's not installed.
But it'll be automatically turned on.
Probably.
You will have to turn it off.
Very Apple. Very Apple.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
Very Apple.
They are never opt-in. They're opt-out.
Yes. And feel free to opt out, but you got to find it. You got to figure out how to opt out. So, but I think we would know if we had iOS 18, Jess.
I think so. I'm constantly getting messages that I don't have enough storage for new updates, so I doubt I have iOS. That seems like it needs a lot of storage.
But we'll all check now.
Yes.
So that's it. Jessica, It was great talking to you today.
Yes. Lauren, we always have so much more when we're like,
chit-chat.
We have nothing to say this week. Nope. We always find something.
So please, listeners, turn into Below Deck Med and
Dubai.
You won't be disappointed.
You won't regret it.
No.
Yes.
Anyway, bye, Jessica.
Bye.